Last week I played the World Grand Prix tournament for Cardfight Vanguard, and let me tell you, it was a traumatizing experience. The deck I brought to WGP was Charmot. The decision to bring Charmot is questionable, because it is not a meta deck. It can be a solid tier 2 deck, but it dies heavily to aggressive rushes because you can't afford to guard with your pieces. Charmot is a unit that hits super hard from grade 3 onwards, as the whole deck revolves around making your 3-4 attacks hit for very big numbers. With the current meta filled with one particular very aggressive deck in my go, Charmot is at a big disadvantage. In fact, for my preparation, I've tested Charmot against the very best decks in the format. While my games against the other decks were semi-even, I was always destroyed against Mygo, provided I don't get lucky. So why? Why did I bring Charmot? Because I like her and I like the deck. Also, I spent way too much money on. Onto round 1 of WGP, I arrived at the table early and my opponent was nowhere to be seen. Could this be it? Has my luck finally come about? Nope. My opponent arrived 3 minutes late and started shuffling his deck when he arrived. Well, I thought it was fine and we started to mulligan. I went second this time, but it's not that bad because I can do 4 attacks on my first grade 3 turn. And then it happened. It's my go, my biggest counter, his turn. He discards, writes and searches his deck twice for the song and the grade 1 unit. My turn. I discard, write and attack. He guards with the 15k shield and didn't take any damage. His turn. He writes and calls 3 rearguards and start attacking with the grade 2 order in play. The grade 2 order allows for 4 attacks on the first grade 2 turn. My hand was filled with PGs and grade 3 so I can only guard 1 attack. No guard. No trigger. Guard with 15k. No guard. Crit trigger. I take 2 more damage. Last attack, he uses the skill to force me guard with 2 units. I was forced to use my blitz order and he ends the turn. Now at this point I realized my chances of winning were slim to none, but I had to try something. I discard my cup and ride and start attacking. He takes a damage and guess what, it's an over trigger. He gives the effects to Vanguard and the turn is over. He rides, start doing Mygo things and filled his board with the grade 3 song order that enables 5 attacks. He attacks with the rear guard and I guarded with my only 15k left. He attacks with the other rear guard, I take it and I get a defensive heal trigger, for you. And then he attacks with the Vanguard and I guard with the 5k shield for a 2 pass. And then he attacks with his triple crit rear guard and I immediately lose the game. I said good game, laughed, stood up and walked away. The tournament just started 3 minutes ago and I already lost my first game. I bantered with some friends and continued to round 2. Round 2 was against Youthberg, in which I go second again. It wasn't looking very good until I checked the critical trigger that put my opponent at 2 damage on their first turn. First damage check, no trigger. Second damage check. I saw the look in my opponent's face. It was clear that he wasn't very happy with that outcome. The game proceeded very smoothly for me, as my opponent couldn't use Youthberg Full Blast for 2 straight turns and died on my personal right turn. I got the W and was feeling very confident again. Until the third round comes, where I face against a mirror match in Charmot, or so I thought. They got the table numbering wrong and my actual opponent was on my right. My opponent sits down after he changed places and we roll the dice. I went first this time around, so I was feeling pretty hopeful. My opponent flipped the Vanguard and it's fucking my go again. My first turn went fine as I checked the defensive critical trigger to stop my opponent's first turn aggression. But on their second turn, they had the entire Mygo combo for 4 attacks. And once again, my hand wasn't that big. I had about 2 triggers and could guard a few attacks, so I guarded the first and second attack. The third attack with the Vanguard I didn't no guard and there was no trigger, so I then took the other damage and proceeded to my turn with 2 damage. I pumped my Vanguard to about 34k and started swinging. I checked the crit and my opponent got pushed to 4 damage. I felt pretty confident so far, all the luck has been going to my side and I thought everything went pretty fine. My opponent starts his turn and he starts doing the usual filtering with the grade 2s. He achieved a full combo with the grade 3 song and is ready to absolutely destroy me. I realized I only had a hand that's worth like 45k shield, and the only way I can survive this turn is if they don't check a critical trigger. With my small hand, I guard the first 2 normal attacks, then had to rely on a 2 pass on the Vanguard. My opponent completely whips the drive check, and now, at 3 damage, I can survive this turn if my opponent doesn't check a critical trigger. So they're grade 2 swings with a drive check. I don't guard. And I lost. With that game, I am now officially X2, which makes me literally having almost no chance to qualify for top 8. I stayed for another game, but it was a free win because my opponent didn't show up. I met up with some friends, went to lunch, and the rest was history. Overall, it was a pretty disappointing run, but it wasn't unexpected. I brought a deck that I liked, and it was not favored against the current meta. I believe my goal is a problem, but because it didn't top, it probably won't get hit with a ban list. If you want to see a video on why I think that, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thank you for watching. 95.6% of you are not subscribed, so please subscribe because Charmod said so. I also have a Twitter account, so please follow me there too. Bye bye.